of our doubleheader all done. The ladies of Alabama A&M beat the Hornets 71-63. Welcome to the HBCU Go Sports Crossover Show presented by Old Spice. 24/7 freshness from pits to toes and down below. I'm Jasmine McCoy, he's Tali Carr, and we are bringing you the best stories in sports, entertainment, and culture from around our HBCUs. Tali, what a game for Coach. I mean, this is her first season. 20 wins?
Yeah, the diva gets it done. You know, it's like this every Saturday on HBCU Go. It's a game within a game. This was a run by A&M, a run by Alabama State. A&M responds. Alabama State pulls close, and Alabama A&M finally pulls away. Great finish there, and congratulations on the 20-win season. And always getting a win on your rival's home court feels good to end the season.
And as we begin Women's History Month, we turn our attention to a young woman making aviation history. Staten Island native Kamora Freeland had dreams of becoming a marine biologist until her mom signed her up for a scholarship program with United Youth Aviators. Starting at age 15, that program put her on track to become one of the youngest black licensed pilots in the country and the youngest black female pilot in the state of New York at just 17 years old. HBCU Go took a trip to Spelman's campus to talk to the young aviator about her route to the friendly skies and her future goals.
My mom always told us to try anything once to see if we like it or not. So I was never against going up for my first flight. And also it was pretty cool to get your private pilot license. That was a lot of work. After I went on my first flight, I seen that you can make $700,000 a year, so I'm gonna do that. I was like, I'm gonna do that. And then also, I seen that there's not a lot of black women in aviation, and I want to be a part of that change, because there's less than 1% of black female commercial pilots. The key back in the milk, so it doesn't get lost. We just kind of looked for organizations that I can join, so that way I'm surrounded by them. And that definitely made me fall in love with aviation even more, because I'm surrounded by people that look like me in the field that I'm in. And hearing the way they talk about aviation, the way they love flying, once I started flying more, I'm like, wow, I actually feel that same way. So actually the same organization I got my private pilot license with, which is United Youth Aviators, they're going to cover my instrument rating, which hopefully I will get in the summertime. I have to start studying for that now. But yeah, they've been with me through the whole process as well. They've paid for pretty much my whole entire private pilot license, and they're going to continue to pay for my instrument rating. So they're definitely supporting me throughout the whole time. I chose international studies so that way I can learn about other parts of the world, other cultures, other people, and just to learn about the world that I'm going to be flying in, all the different places I'm going to be going to. This semester I do intend to start studying and training again for my instrument rating. So I don't really know how I'm going to balance that yet, because my schedule is actually more hectic than it was last semester because I'm taking more classes. So I don't know how I'm going to balance it yet, but I do want to open up a school for other children, because United Youth Aviators provided me the opportunity to get my private pilot license without having to pay anything. So I definitely want to do the same thing and give back to other kids so that way they can have that same opportunity. People always tell me that oh, you made history, you're inspiring people. And I'm happy I'm inspiring people, and I'm happy I can be that source of inspiration. But I don't think about myself that way. I just feel like I'm doing something that anyone could do. You just have to dedicate yourself and study. So I really don't think about myself as anything different. I just feel like a regular person. I just studied really hard to get what I wanted, and anyone can do that.
Kamora wants to be an international commercial pilot and eventually live internationally, so that degree will come in handy. Be on the lookout for that face when you're on a plane in the next few years. She just might greet you out the door. We'll take a quick break, but when we get back, we'll check on Tali's pulse next on the HBCU Go Sports Crossover Show presented by Old Spice. Welcome back to the HBCU Go Crossover Show presented by Old Spice. And now it's time to check the pulse with Tali Carr about a few HBCU sports topics. We'll start this week's polls highlighting the one and only HBCU player invited to the NFL Combine, Alabama A&M's offensive lineman Carson Vinson.
All right, Carson Vincent, here's the skinny on him. He's not skinny. He is big. He's aggressive. He has big hands. Scouts love his aggressive mentality. They love him in run block situations. They still feel like he has a lot of potential in areas to improve in passing and pass blocking. They say his pads are a little high. He needs to bend the knees a little bit, get the hips down. You get more leverage that way. He's able to kind of get away with some of that stuff in the SWAC because, hey, he's big and aggressive. So a little bit of a learning curve still to go in the NFL, but they love his potential. That's why he's at the combine. And we wish him the best of luck when the draft rolls around.
Yes, we do. Switching to basketball, we always hear about the women of Norfolk State dominating the MEAC, but the men's team has now 4 consecutive seasons of 20 wins or more. Is this a first in the MEAC, Tom?
Are these America's curls? Yes, they are. The answer to your question is yes. First time in MEAC history, Norfolk State, 4th straight 20-win seasons. Look, Coach Jones has been there 12 years, only 1 losing season. But here is the thing. In HBCU basketball, you can have a great season. You can go undefeated.
Yep.
If you don't win that conference tournament, you're not going to the big dance. It is what it is. We've seen years where they've had 20-plus wins. They've made it to the tournament. We've seen years where they didn't make it because they lost in the MEAC tournament. The proof is in the pudding, and it is on your screen. The big question mark, what will they do this year? Their 4th 20-plus win season in a row, MEAC tournament just around the corner.
And all buzz in Baltimore this week as the CIAA men's and women's tournament comes to a close with both championship games taking place today. Tolly, we know the championship on the women's side.
Yeah, just a few minutes ago, Fayetteville State won their 5th championship. They defeated Virginia State. That was 64-56, the final in that one. Fayetteville State was number 3 in our poll this week. I think they're like number 1, maybe. They're defeated like, the number 1 Virginia State team. So congrats to the Lady Broncos. The 5th championship, CIAA championship in school history, just wrapped up a few minutes ago.
And that'll do it for today's polls. When we come back, it's a spin around social media with the social call. We'll be right back for more of the HBCU Sports Crossover Show presented by Old Spice. Welcome back to the HBCU Go Crossover Show presented by Old Spice. We'll get you back out to Montgomery for the second half of our doubleheader. But first, it's time for this week's social call where we tap in with the social media stories around our culture, sports, and campus life. We start out with a big spotlight on the new CIAA Hall of Fame inductee, Inez Turner. The Fayetteville State legend not only just won her 5th championship in a row, she was also honored with the Indoor Track and Field Female Coach of the Year award. But she has set a ridiculous standard of excellence, leading her team to 25.
Say it again.
25 CIAA championships in her 15-year career. She is truly the Lord of the Rings. She needs all of our hands and more to show off those rings.
Fingers, toes, you name it. Started her coaching career in the CIAA at Winston-Salem State. Then she stays within the division, goes to Fayetteville State. If you want to win cross-country, indoor, outdoor track, welcome to the Inez Turner Invitational because you have to go through her and her crew. Well-deserved induction into the CIAA Hall of Fame.
Be sure to join us next week when we share our exclusive conversation with Coach Turner as our feature story as well. Now shifting to swimming, where the Howard University men's swimming and diving team won its 2nd NEC title in 3 years, showcasing its dominance in NCAA Division I swimming. The Bison continue to rewrite the record books under Coach Nick Askew. Up next for the squad is the CSCAA National Invitational Championship in Florida.
You know, I'm old enough to remember North Carolina A&T's women's swim program. They discontinued it in 2016. Then Howard became the lone HBCU at the Division I level with the swim and dive program. At their recent championship, we're not talking just swimming. The dive team in the 3-meter dive, they won 1st, 2nd, 3rd. They swept the podium. Look, they've been racking up championships. Not just a quality HBCU program. This is a quality NCAA championship winning program at Howard.
And before we wrap wrap on this week's Social Call, we have to give it up for Coach Dawn Thornton and her Lady Bulldogs, who played in our first game today. You just saw them on the court. In her first year, Coach Thornton's squad has achieved 19 wins, which is the highest for the program in its Division I era. We cannot wait to see Alabama, A&M, and them in this year's tournament. She is truly the diva coach in every sense of the word.
Yeah, that was 19 wins coming in. So just a few minutes ago, she racked that up to 20 wins. First year there with the Lady Bulldogs. It is an absolute fit. Her personality fits. They're winning. A top 3 program at UAPB wasn't able to get over that Jackson State hump. But this year, tournament a couple of weeks away, we'll see what she can do with Alabama A&M in that program.
Yes, we'll have to see what she can do. That's a wrap for this week's Social Call. Make sure y'all keep the convo going. Hit us up in the comments. Let us know your thoughts. As always, keep up with HBCU sports by following us on all of our social media platforms under hbcugo.tv. We're about to take a break, but first here at HBCU Go, we celebrate Women's History Month by highlighting women of impact. Alabama A&M University graduate Hadia Nicole Green is the lead inventor of multiple patent-pending systems for targeted cancer therapy. Dr. Green continues her quest to improve cancer treatment through her Orally Smith Cancer Research Foundation. Great work there. We'll be back to wrap it up after the break. We're just about to wrap it up here on the HBCU Go Sports Crossover Show presented by Old Spice. We'll get you back out to Montgomery, Alabama in just a few moments. But first, Tolly, how are you feeling about this matchup? We had a great game in the first.
Well, it's a rivalry, of course. Alabama State 9-6 in the SWAC, Alabama A&M 6-9, and we have 2 of the top 5 scorers that you'll be seeing on your TV or device or wherever you're watching right now. About 15 points a game for both AC Bryant and Amar Knox. AC Bryant gets the edge as the better 3-point shooter, right at 42%. So look for those 2 guys in the game coming up.
And be sure to join us next week as we celebrate International Women's Day at the Battle in the SIP with Jackson State taking on Mississippi Valley State. Our cover starts at 1 p.m. Eastern. Now let's get you back out for the second half of our doubleheader as Charlie Neal, Tim Scarborough, and Nino Simone will have you covered for this game. But next week, as you can see, Jackson State versus Mississippi Valley State, that doubleheader coming up. Thank you so much for joining us here on the HBCU Go Sports Crossover Show presented by Old Spice. Take care.